Enough of fooling around now. We're ready? Okay. Welcome to Health, Social, Educational, Environmental Committee meeting. Please stand for the pledge. Legislator Russo, can you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Legislator Elmer? Here. Legislator Russo?
Here.
Chairwoman Moccio?
Here. Moving on to number 3 is discussion. This is update the state of solid waste in Putnam County. We have the Health Department here. Would you like to come forward? Hello.
Hi. Shanna here. I just want to give welcome from Rion. You know, he always likes to share his introduction before he has a staff member present.
Thank you. So if it's okay, I'm going to read. He was unable to be here today. So Rion would like to apologize for not being here this evening in person due to a conflict. Putnam County, unlike surrounding counties, holds the distinction of having solid waste overseen through the Department of Health. We at the Health Department take the responsibility of stewardship for the land and water very seriously. In recognition of our vision to be bold and innovative leaders, tonight, Savannah Usher, Solid Waste Manager at the Department of Health, will begin the dialogue regarding what the future of solid waste in the county could look like. The process is meant to be collaborative, inclusive, and community informed. With that framework in mind, Savannah Usher.
So Savannah, you are the Solid Waste Program Manager.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening to the members of the Legislature. Thank you for the opportunity to provide an overview of the state of solid waste in Putnam County for 2025. I am Savannah Usher, the Solid Waste Program Manager at the Putnam County Health Department, and I will be walking you through the last 8 months of research and program evaluation to address our current efforts, upcoming goals, and opportunities to improve our solid waste management program that are also being used to inform the local solid waste management plan in alignment with the New York State DEC regulations. After this presentation, I look forward to any feedback you may have to help with fine-tuning the short-term and long-term goals for solid waste in Putnam County. So New York State recently released an updated solid waste management plan. This plan provides a comprehensive roadmap for transitioning to a circular economy, one that minimizes waste, conserves natural resources, reduces greenhouse gas emissions, and supports thriving communities through 5 focus areas, and those are product stewardship and extended producer responsibility, or EPR, organics reduction and recycling, waste reduction and reuse, recycling and recycling market development and resiliency, advanced design and operations of solid waste management facilities, and toxic reductions in products. So the New York State DEC requires all planning units in the state to compose their own local solid waste management plan, or LSWAMP. Putnam County, as the planning unit, is responsible for measuring, managing, and enforcing solid waste management regulations, practices, and improvements throughout the county. The LSWAMP is a valuable tool for not only the county government, but for all of our municipalities. The document is intended to review the current solid waste management practices, evaluate the options and alternatives available for future solid waste management, and to set forth the implementation plan along with projections of waste reduction over the 10-year period, and our LSWAMP will cover 2025 through 2034. While composing the Putnam County LSWAMP, the focus of this program is to reduce the amount of solid waste destined for disposal by preventing the generation, reducing our solid waste footprint, and increasing reuse, recycling, composting, and other sustainable materials management methods. Our second is to establish a unified county-wide local solid waste management plan. And our third is to identify solid waste management practices to encompass more educational and innovative ideas. So the current state of solid waste in Putnam County is different than that of other counties within our region. Our county's solid waste program faces several limitations in meeting state expectations when it comes to solid waste. As you see here on this slide, we have a significant amount of effort going into enforcement through hauler permitting, and we have only a few programs focused on solid waste management and recycling practices. Those programs that we do have are Keep Putnam Beautiful, which includes the Litter Patrol, contracted through Putnam ARC. We have education and outreach through the Putnam Recycles website and the Putnam Health social media pages. And for attention to organics management, we promote compost bin sales and have our household hazardous waste days in support of special waste and environmental stewardship. Now, we do have quite a few programmatic gaps and challenges, and I'll start with adherence to state regulations and standards since we've had an expired LSWAMP since 2020. As a result, there have been gaps in municipal engagement, and there is limited public awareness and education. Because of this limited oversight, the infrastructure for special waste streams and communication pathways with the transfer stations and recycling centers here in Putnam County needs better coordination. So right now, without these systems, we don't have reliable data on how much waste is being generated and what is being done with the waste generated here. This evaluation of current solid waste practices, challenges, and needs has shaped identification of future planning needs. Give me a second. This one's got some animations. So, as I mentioned earlier, the LSWAMP is a 10-year roadmap to comply with the New York State DEC regulations and is tailored to specifically to Putnam County. So with that said, this slide's going to show us what the future of Putnam County solid waste could look like when we mend the gaps and strengthen our connections. So let's start by bringing back what was on the previous slide. And it looks very nice when it's spread out, a little more equal to each other. And then I'd like to introduce the myriad of projects, and it's not working, services that we need to consider to focus on filling service and compliance gaps. And that includes stronger permitting guidelines and compliance checks, updating and creating policies, increasing public education materials and opportunities, improving data collected and reported from municipalities, and other infrastructure improvements. We're also schools, businesses, and community groups, as well as focusing on countywide integration for a unified message and collaborative effort to minimize waste and promote environmental stewardship. The activity will help Climate Smart Communities Silver certification and will intertwine with countywide integration. Now, Putnam County, I'd like to share a brand new hot-off-the-press announcement regarding one of the projects we've been researching in the last few months as an example of what we can do in solid waste, representing a great pathway forward. And that is with vape disposal and rechargeable batteries. So as we know, the improper disposal of vape devices, which have lithium batteries or rechargeable batteries in them, present fire and environmental hazards and leak toxic chemicals from those lithium batteries into our environment. They are hard to recycle due to their sealed designs and lack of dedicated battery recovery systems and low public awareness. Most users that have vape devices or devices with rechargeable batteries don't know how to properly dispose of them, leading them to unsafe trash or recycling bin disposal. So the New York State Attorney General's office has announced that JUUL settlement funds are now eligible for use toward the safe and proper disposal of vapes as hazardous waste. And we will continue to work with the Prevention Council of Putnam and Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES to create a safe, sustainable, and environmentally friendly disposal program for our residents and schools. And Shauna will be presenting on that in a little bit. So some of our greatest challenges, like cost control, infrastructure limitations, and public participation, also present opportunities where we can build resilience and sustainability through innovation, regional partnerships, and community engagement. As we explore a standardized countywide approach to solid waste management, there are significant opportunities to highlight. First, where the unified system streamlines regulations and services across all municipalities, reducing confusion and inefficiencies, and also allow infrastructure gaps, supporting more strategic planning and prioritization of critical upgrades. Aligning our local efforts with state policy strengthens our ability to influence legislation and ensures consistency with statewide mandates. Perhaps most importantly, coordinated planning boosts our competitiveness for grants and funding, showcasing a long-term, well-aligned vision. However, there are have to anticipate. Some things that have been considered as challenges is that when coordinating across multiple jurisdictions, there are differing priorities, responsibilities, resources, and capacity. As with anything, there are also financial and logistical barriers that may occur when transitioning to a standardized model because of the disruption of the existing systems. And lastly, public buy-in is critical. Without early engagement and clear communication, residents may resist changes, especially if they affect service schedules, fees, or participation requirements. Which is why we're here today. So, how does the legislature play a role? Oh, thank you. Double duty. So, there are 4 areas where the legislature plays a role in solid waste management and the LSWAMP planning, and the first is in budgeting. So, by assisting with the identification of financial needs of this plan and its components, the county executive and legislature will help to prioritize the county's investments and ensure that the funding mechanisms are sustainable and balanced, including grant acquisition. With your assistance, connecting our spending on solid waste materials management efforts, we'll be able to have data to show measurable outcomes so that our residents can see the value in these recommended improvements. In community engagement, with your involvement, the residents, businesses, community groups, and schools in your districts will have a voice. The New York State DEC requires us to have a 45-day public comment period, which I'll go into a little bit more detail on the next slide, but through you all, their feedback will be represented in this plan's framework even before they're given an opportunity to see it. And lastly, with the relationships that you have with your communities, your support of this plan will hopefully encourage participation in the programs and projects recommended and identified for implementation over the next 10 years and will help us to maintain good standing with the New York State DEC. Only have updates on the LSWAMP are sent to the New York State DEC. And lastly, in policy, the state laws and county code sets the framework for how solid waste is managed. In Putnam County, we have had that foundation since the 80s, but it's going to need some renovations. We'll have to work together to update our code to better support the state and county goals for waste reduction, recycling, and organics management, along with our own disposal goals. And then last, we have the LSWAMP approval process. So I'll go through this briefly because it is quite tedious. So we, the planning unit here at the Health Department, draft the LSWAMP and submit it to the New York State DEC for review. And then they conduct a technical review and provide feedback to ensure that we are compliant with state regulations and guidelines. Once we get that feedback from the New York State DEC, we then open for a public comment period, which is 45 days, and requires us to host to notify the public 15 days prior to and host a presentation where we provide the residents with an overview of the information within the LSWAMP, and as well as giving them a place to locate the LSWAMP in its full form so they can read it and provide informative feedback. Once we've done that, as the planning unit receives that feedback, we conduct a responsiveness summary based on the comments received, and we make any necessary changes to the LSWAMP draft and then send it back to the DEC for final approval. And then, of course, we have to have a resolution from the legislature, and then we can implement it. And that is it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That was a lot of information.
It is.
So, yes.
Thank you.
So, you know, there is a big concern with the disposable of vapes. Do you
Yes.
see any legislation down the road that they maybe won't use those or make those anymore? Or cut back on them? It's just like, you know.
I would hope so. Personally.
They could- Yeah, because, you know, eventually it's in the landfill, it's going to leach into our water. And so if you have more funding for that, you know, from the JUUL, what can be done, though, as far as disposing them properly?
That is an excellent question, and it is very technical and not something that I would be able to answer completely in a short period of time. But we are looking at the options for disposal, special contracts, working with hazardous waste vendors to find out how much it would cost and how we can identify a sustainable long-term solution. But to answer your question about legislation, on the slide about New York State Solid Waste Management Plan, they have the product stewardship and extended producer responsibility focus area, which is where the manufacturers of these devices would be held responsible for the proper disposal, and that's really the goal. So from my perspective, working in solid waste, if we start to bring vape disposal and rechargeable battery disposal issues to the forefront of solid waste, we can work with the other industries and fields to be able to say, this isn't just impacting the health of our communities, it's also impacting the health of our environments.
Big
So,
problem, yes.
yeah. So there's a lot to consider, but we are definitely looking at all of the pieces.
Thank you.
The lithium-ion battery. Every cell phone has a lithium-ion battery. All the portable power packs for cell phones have lithium-ion batteries. Many of the remote controls by Apple, basically anything that's rechargeable. Has the state been addressing any of these?
They have been addressing them, but disposal is still a challenge. There are programs through Home Depot that will accept smaller lithium rechargeable batteries, but for the larger ones in, let's say, e-bikes and such, they're a little bit more difficult to recycle.
Jump pack.
What's that?
An automotive jump pack.
Yes. So those are going to be able to be recycled through a program called Call to Recycle. But of course, there's contracts involved with that when we look at it at a much larger scale. So there are some things that our residents can do on a personal level, but from a state perspective, they are working on it, and there is a rechargeable batteries division within the New York State DEC, and I have been in contact with them.
Thank you.
So,
And I feel also, the cell phones, yeah, that poses a problem also.
Yeah.
You're not throwing them away every day. Like the
Right.
JUUL, those are being thrown out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a huge problem, but it's good. I'm glad they're working on something.
Yes.
Anyone else from the committee have anything to say? Okay, any other legislators? Yes.
Yeah, first of all, thank you, very informative presentation. Two questions. One you might not know the answer to because we don't have a solid waste management plan for 5, or at least we've been out of compliance for 5 years. First question, and I'll just put them out there both at the same time. Do you know where our current municipal solid waste goes today? I know we have haulers. I know we have permitting for that. That's question number one. Question number two, you mentioned the 1980s. Back about 40 years ago, New York State DEC mandated on every county an in-county solution. And in Putnam County, that eventually evolved in 1989 to this legislature approving a landfill in the town of Patterson. And eventually, a new administration came on. That didn't happen, thankfully. We don't have that. God forbid if we did, where would we be today? So my second question is, and you did mention in your presentation that there has to be a local response to something, and that's great. I'm all in favor of that. But do you know, and maybe you don't, is there any current requirement, like there was in the 80s, which has since been repealed, that there be an in-county solution for the disposal of municipal solid waste? And that might be an unfair question. You might not know the answer, so
So I'm going to start with question number 2 because that is the easier one for me to answer. I do not have, I know that there is no requirement for us to have an in-county solution because to answer question number 1, which is not an easy one to answer because it depends on your hauler, it depends on where you live, and it depends on what kind of waste we're talking about, which I do have the answers to all of that, and that will be included in the plan. So when it's open for public comment, you'll be able to see that breakdown of where everything is going in the interest of time today. But none of the waste that is generated in Putnam County is processed in Putnam County. It is transferred out either through a transfer station, one of the 3 recycling centers that is located here in Putnam County in Patterson, Phillipstown, and the town of Kent, or the other transfer stations for construction and demolition debris, or, and that's it. That's all we have here. So,
Thank you, Savannah.
You're very welcome.
Wonderful information. I just want everybody to know how lucky we are to have Savannah.
Oh, thank you
at
very
Putnam
much,
County.
Legislator Sage.
We lost her for a little bit, and she came back, so we're very happy to have her back. I don't have her.
Well, you
Yeah.
just might.
So I was actually on the solid waste
Focus group.
focus group that engaged with the towns and the villages, and we had I don't know, was it weekly or monthly? It seemed weekly. It was probably monthly. And I know through the pandemic and change in personnel, everything kind of got stopped, and it became non-existent. So I'm so thankful to you for picking this back up. I'm thankful to the county for picking this back up and for all your hard work in this. I know it's a lot of work. But with that said, I'm wondering how you are engaging, or how is Putnam County engaging now with the villages and towns and getting them to be a part of this momentum in this plan?
That's an excellent question, and thank you for your very kind words. I appreciate them. Happy to be back. So when I started back in January in this position, I immediately reached out to all of the town supervisors and mayors of the villages to introduce myself and kind of explain what my role is going to be moving forward as a solid waste program manager, and how my main priority for however long it takes for me to compose is the local solid waste management plan, and asked for their support and participation in providing any of the data that I needed to include in the plan under the New York State DEC regulations, and everyone has been super supportive and has provided the information that I need to put into the plan. And moving forward, once we open for public comment, I will continue to engage with the town supervisors and the village mayors, and will be reinvigorating the solid waste focus groups. It may not be called a solid waste focus group. It might be towns and supers and solid waste, town supervisors and solid waste management. But I'm looking to do that with a number of different stakeholders in solid waste and throughout Putnam County, as well as our regional counterparts. So.
Do one more question. And I know this sounds so simple, but and maybe it's already in the works, but something that I was wanting to focus on, and it's simple, is just getting each town to pass out like stickers on each of their like your recycling. This can't be recycled. This can't be recycled.
Yes.
This goes into trash, and just put on top here, because so many times my kids are taking pizza boxes and putting in the recycling. It's like, you can't do that because it's got food waste on it. I mean, I think people are just so unsure of what to put where, and I think just having a sticker to put on your garbage can would help a lot. I didn't know if that was something that's in the works, or something the health department can help with, or.
Yep, that is something that is in the works. We have a number of educational pathways that we're going to look forward to, and identify funding streams through grants for educational purposes, materials that are hard copy as well as electronic, and we'll be reinvigorating the Putnam Recycles website to be a little bit more interactive, so that if someone does have a question about where something should go for disposal or recycling, they have a one-stop shop, especially since our waste does not stay here in the county. So
Yeah.
hopefully it'll have a downstream impact.
And just one, I'm sorry, I love
Sure.
this stuff.
I love that you love it.
One thing, I mean, because my kid, anyway, I'm not going to go on and on, but I think it was very interesting that I know the town of Carmel, our garbage goes to Wheelabrator.
Yes.
We have AAA, and that goes into, it's, I guess, also.
Waste to energy facility.
Waste to energy, so it's also doing the electricity for White Plains Lenin next door.
Yes.
I thought that was amazing. My kids love that.
It is
And they're
interesting.
wonderful at Wheelabrator. You can go and take a tour.
Yeah.
They're very excited to have.
That was one of the first things I did when I
Yeah.
started here too, to get a better idea of what we have access to.
Yeah, they're wonderful. Anyway.
Hi, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I was listening while I was driving, so it was a great presentation.
Thank you.
Sorry I was late.
It's okay.
And I'm most curious about sort of this is color-coded, and I see that you're identifying a location for a compost facility. And I'm most interested in food scrap recycling. I know a lot of the individual, well, not a lot, actually, Phillipstown has
Yes.
established a food scrap recycling program. I went down and I toured the Scarsdale facility, and those places are really helpful and resourceful in getting communities to start their own up here. And I'm just wondering where we're at with that, moving forward toward that in Putnam County.
Yes. Simply stated, yes. There is a lot that goes into creating a food scrap recycling program for municipalities, especially with behavioral change, if it's something that the residents are not used to doing. But we are working with the Putnam County Planning Department and some of our other community organizations to start to plan the process and what the phases of food scrap recycling and composting would look like. The county composting facility is one idea of how we'll be able to begin on a small scale and then eventually expand. So it's still in the planning.
But most municipalities fall it away, right?
As municipal waste.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not separated out.
Expensive.
Yeah, well, it depends. It depends on volume.
And are we creating, we're looking to create a drop-off program
Yes, yes.
And is there funding? There used to be a lot of funding for this. Did that all go away?
We are working on it. There are at least 2 grants right now in the works that one that we're applying for and one that we're researching. So you'll see me again.
Round up legislators to do a tour of Scarsdale or another facility. That's a really eye-opener. I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, can definitely do that.
It's really helpful in
Yeah.
getting an understanding.
Can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scarsdale, they'll take you on a tour.
Yes. I have toured Westchester's compost ed program. They have a small composting facility with multiple bin systems that they have at the county level, more for educational purposes. So that is something we're also considering.
Do a tour and have lunch or something.
Sounds good.
The scraps, we eat that.
Yeah. So,
Thank you so much.
yeah.
I wanted to ask a question. People interested in composting, I think it would be great if the county could provide the compost, actually whatever they use, the barrel.
Compost bins?
Bins.
We do have
But
them.
you do charge for them.
Yes.
Right, but somebody, maybe people didn't have the money to do that, if there was a way to provide for the residents in Putnam County.
I'll write that down.
Okay. Anyone else? Legislator Goldman.
The county does sell those compost bins. I think they're about $50.
Yeah.
70.
I think
That's
they
it.
do it,
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be,
3 or 4 months ago. Just rebought more bins, so that's a good thing.
Yes.
Vape boxes, I know there's one in the town of Putnam Valley. Where else are they in the county?
I don't know all of the locations off the top of my head, but you can find them on our website, on Putnam Health, under
It might be under medication take-back?
medication take-back. They are currently being collected and recycled through the medication take-back program with the DEA. So, sponsored by the DEA, partially sponsored by the DEA.
Put it in the schools also, because the kids are using them, you put them in the school.
We will,
I will address that when we get to the JUUL agenda item if you want, but also just the boxes that are out for the vape disposal that were converted med take back boxes. They are sort of like, they were the Band-Aid on the solution so that those boxes didn't go to waste, and our community partners did an amazing job trying to make use of them and then bringing the vapes to med take back. But as Savannah can tell you, the differences between the DEC and the DEA and EPA on how to dispose of something that previously had substances or may have had substances in it versus the lithium battery, there's not an alignment. And so that's why it's kind of a complicated process.
Besides batteries, are we doing anything for e-waste?
Yes, that one is a very easy answer. Every municipality in Putnam County has their own e-waste recycling programs, whether they have a contract with an e-waste disposal company or they have go out to bid to host drop-off days within the towns. So it depends on the municipality.
The one in Putnam Valley, I just figured out that, so.
Yep, it's a great question.
any other legislators? Yeah. Anybody from the public have any questions or comments? You can come up. No? Okay.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you for
Very
having me.
good. Have a great night.
You too.
Moving on to number 4, so you're going to stay right there, right? Shana? Yes, okay. This is a budgetary amendment, 25A081. This is for the JUUL settlement disbursements. I see we have $191,650 coming in.
Yeah, just going to
Yep.
start it out, and then Shannon will take over on this with any questions on it. But Putnam County was awarded $511,000 and a change by the New York State Attorney General's Office for the JUUL settlement, okay? The county has received 3 payments, and if you divide that out of 8, so if you divide that up, that's where the 191 comes from. But we're going to be receiving 5 additional payments. We don't know when, okay? this budgetary amendment that we're requesting, that you have in front of you, is only for the money that we received, okay, the 191.
Right.
So that's the way I'm going to do it. As the money comes in, we'll come back and go from there.
Dribs and drabs, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know if they're going to hold the three
Yeah.
more or the next one,
Okay.
but, that's where it's at right now. So we're going for the money that is in the finance department right now.
Okay.
And I think Shanna is going to, you can review the budgetary
Right.
amendment. I don't know if you have any, do you want to just ask questions from
Yeah.
there?
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. So just for the public, I mean, and there is some for vehicle leasing, food, promotional materials, supplies and materials, and contracts, and chargeback auto insurance. Is any questions or comments from any committee members? No? Legislative? Yes.
There's, the total, what's the total amount on the,
511.
I see an amount here, 511,000. That's the total.
Yeah, this is three payments of each.
So make it the rest in one payment, or?
That, I don't know.
Yeah.
We were supposed to get one payment, then two and three. We got three altogether, so I don't know what their process is.
That's just strange.
Yeah, the original disbursement schedule was supposed to be one disbursement per year for 8 years, according to the settlement between the states that were involved and JUUL. But the Attorney General's office was late on their disbursements to most counties, and so they didn't tell us we were getting 3 at once, but they did say we may get more than 1 this round. So that was, I guess, their catch-up schedule.
That was good. Legislator Montgomery.
Thank you. I think I asked this when we got notice of receiving the settlement, and I'm wondering if some of the funds can go to our outside agencies, apart from what the county gives outside agencies in their outside agency line, apart what we give them already in terms of opioid settlement and other things we contract these outside agencies for, because it just seems that these not-for-profit outside agencies are the ones that have direct contact with the community, like the Prevention Council, the Hub, MHA, other, all of our organizations that do education and prevention. And I know the health department is stretched with staff, so I'm wondering, it's a lot of money. I see that there's a vehicle that we're using it for to get to those areas. We have agencies that are in those areas that could be doing that work as well.
Yes, well, there's actually 2 parts to that. So the first is that you'll see there's a lot of money in the contract line. The first piece of this is because it aligns with the solid waste plan, looking into what is the actual cost and who would we need to be contracting with for, say, vape disposal in Putnam County. What would that look like on a countywide level? So once we kind of get that mapped out, we will begin to look at other potential contracts that we will need. I'm already in discussions. The last we met a couple months ago, we talked about BOCES. Rian and I already had a really productive conversation with Putnam, Northern Westchester BOCES, and we have another meeting with them as well as Westchester County, since, as we know, they have districts in Northern Westchester as well as in our county, to talk about what that vape disposal program will look like at a district level in schools, as we had mentioned earlier, and what other components there may need to be for that. So if there's going to be amnesty policies, or if there's going to be restorative justice policies that schools will need to write, there may be contracts there. But BOCES, Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES, got over $800,000 in total in this settlement as well. So any money that needs to go directly to schools for this program will probably funnel through Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES, but the county is, of course, there to back up. In terms of our community partners, I have met with the Prevention Council and the Hub, and we work very closely with the Prevention Council to do education in schools. Already several programs existing in school districts throughout the county, and so we will continue that. We often back them up when they don't have the staff to actually get into the schools. So it's actually health educators from the health department that are delivering a lot of the programs. and we did speak with the hub, and as they are expanding their services more, we've offered to ensure that their staff get trained on the same curriculum that health educators at the health department and the prevention council have been trained in. Additionally, throughout the county, through the co-occurring system of care coalition, with Lauren Johnson and the youth work group there, we have worked closely with Stephanie Marcasano. Actually, she was just at the Harm Reduction Symposium in Albany that I was at and Lauren Johnson was at as well. And each one of us were presenters there, and then we kind of met in the evening to talk more about implementing a co-occurring curriculum, which we had spoken about a couple of months ago as well. Two of the biggest ones that came since we last met talking about this were from the Attorney General's office announcing that both safe vape disposal and co-occurring curriculum would be eligible costs associated with this grant. So they are now considered approved uses. And so while the curriculum is free, implementation of it is not. So those same community partners that you mentioned and more will be helping to get this curriculum into all of our high schools this year in Putnam County, and then in future years, getting it into middle schools as well. So those costs will be on printing materials, which we can do directly. Some of it may end up being contracted out, but what we can coordinate through our efforts that the administrative burden doesn't also fall on the smaller agencies, we will do. So that may include printing costs, that will include incentives or giveaways that go along with the curriculum, and that opens us up not just to this one co-occurring curriculum, but any other countywide intervention that we want to implement will kind of go through that same group of stakeholders to determine if this is something that should be contracted out or if we can do it together as a team through one source.
So when you say, if I may, should or could be contracted out, that meaning the money could be passed through to that agency?
Yes, however, that has not been decided yet as the most feasible option for everybody. In my conversation with those agencies right now, they don't have or want to do that because they don't have a program specific for it yet. And it gets very complicated when you start to talk about whether they are OASIS funded or they have funding through some other area, if they can do that, because of how restrictive some of those funding sources might be. So for right now, as we do a slow kind of rollout, we're going to start with it the way that we have it, which is using most of that contracted line for vape disposal to begin.
Thank you. Any other legislators? Anybody from the public have any comments or questions? No? Okay.
Thank
So I make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Number 5 is discussion. This is an update on the opioid settlement, and we have Commissioner, Department of Mental Health here this evening, Sarah, and
Kristen Warner.
Kristen Warner, I'm sorry, and Kristen Warner, I'm sorry. No, I was just looking. So this is basically, number 5 is basically contract extensions, is that?
Yes, so, hi, everyone. We wanted to just come and give an update, have a discussion on the opiate settlement money that we have currently, that we know we have, and that has gone out. So quickly, in 2023, we awarded an $85,000 single award. In 2024, the actual spending from the opiate settlement was about $500,000. For 2025, we have awarded $613,000. We obviously don't know what that actual will be. So for 2025, contracts went out early August. There was a delay in getting
That's
them
what-
out.
right.
So now everyone is moving forward with invoicing us and getting payments out. So we don't expect the entire awards to be spent in this calendar year. So we would like to extend our contracts 6 months into 2026. right now, we have, what do we have left?
351.
351 in settlement. That doesn't include the abatement pot. So we're taking a look at how we're going to do that for 2026, but right now our priority is to make sure that the agencies that have the awards, because they're doing great work, we have constant contact with the agencies. We are monitoring them. We have to report back on how the money is being spent. So we would just like to continue that into 2026.
Okay, and you have 5 awardees that are here?
This year,
Yes. Okay. Any questions? Questions, comments? Any other legislators? Questions, comments? No? Anybody from the audience? Any questions? No? Okay. So that would.
No, I know, we've got a few more, though. We're going to go through.
Yeah. Moving on to that was on for discussion. Moving on to number 6, this is on for approval. This is a budgetary amendment, New York State Rental Supplement Program Award.
Yes, so this is an allocation that we receive annually from OTDA, Office of Temporary Disability Assistance. It's been flat at $100,000 for quite some time, and it is used to contract out with the Putnam Northern Westchester Women's Resource Center in providing those services.
Now, I understand to be eligible, there is an AMI, which is the area median income, is that correct for that? Like, how do they?
What is the
eligibility?
requirement?
Yes. So,
I know that it is geared towards those that are experiencing homelessness
Right.
or facing imminent loss of housing.
that's okay, I was just wondering, because I know that it's, I think, not more
Household income shall be no more than
50%.
Yes.
Of the area median, depending on Putnam County, they have different
Yes.
medians. Okay. And at this time, how many people are we, you say households, or, yeah?
Yeah, it doesn't go very far.
That's not a lot of money.
It's a handful,
I was just,
if that.
that's what I was going to say, 100,000 is nothing,
Right.
when it comes to that, to providing. Okay. Any questions or comments, new legislator? Nancy, legislator Montgomery, yes.
Do we know if the state increased this at all for this coming fiscal year? I mean, that's what this is passed through. money.
Upcoming?
Yeah, we get from the state.
I haven't
Or it's probably
received-
remain the same. Yeah.
Probably, it's been flat for quite some
Yeah.
time, at least 5 years, so.
And have we seen an increase
In need?
in need?
Yes.
That was, I've never seen anything like this. Shocking. So, I'm sure it's everywhere, not like that, obviously.
There's a lot of families and individuals that are facing pending eviction in homelessness, and that number is higher than we've ever seen. So we are really doing everything we can on the social service side to keep people housed.
Probably my second most common call, aside from people needing care for their disabled or elderly loved ones, is, I'm getting evicted.
Yeah.
Yep.
Legislator Birmingham?
Yeah, quick question. How does this program, I know the county itself does not, unlike most counties, we don't operate our own Section 8 program, from what I understand, or do we? Has that changed? We do? Doesn't that go through, it used to go through the Putnam County Housing Corp.? Has that changed? Okay, I've been off for a while. Okay.
You have nothing to do with Section 8.
Oh, good, well, okay, oh, good. Well, not good, but that's my understanding, is that it's, unlike most counties, we don't do that. It's working through the Putnam County Housing Corporation. So my recollection's correct. Does this in any way interact with that program as well? Because I know Section 8 is a very needed program, but I do know the books were closed for a certain amount of time 2 years ago from the federal level, and of course that trickles down to the local level, to the state and then local level.
It would be great if it did.
Yep.
If anything, some of the goal is to take some of these families or individuals and possibly funnel them through our mental health housing. So
Okay.
our SPOA housing at a supported housing rate is 30% of income, which is the same
Right.
as Section 8. So
Okay.
if anything, we try
So it'll be a parallel program to that extent for the same eligibility?
Availability of that.
Got it, okay. Good, I'm glad to see that, because I know the spigot was turned off about 2 years ago for Section 8, and that left a lot of folks in need.
When it's turned back on,
Yeah.
it happens with minimal notice,
Yeah.
and not a lot of people know. Sometimes our office
That might be by design.
is notified, so-
That might be by design, unfortunately. I hate to say it, but that's, could be the case. Thank you.
Anyone else, legislators? Anybody from the public have any questions or comments? No? Okay, so I make a motion to approve Budgetary Amendment 25A072, New York State Rental Supplement Program Award, $100,000, zero fiscal impact. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving on to number 7, this is a request from Commissioner of Social Services to include the Family-Centered Caseload Management Grant Award.
Yes, so this is actually something that we presented to you, I believe it was in May, early June adoption. And this is just an accounting adjustment, moving the funding from state to federal. It was just placed on the incorrect budget line, so this is just to address that.
Just some housekeeping. And this
Yes.
is zero fiscal impact, so everybody knows that. Okay, any questions or comments on that? From legislators? Anybody from the audience? Public, no. Okay. So I make a motion to approve Budgetary Amendment 25A077. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving on to number 8 is also an approval for budgetary amendment. This is opioid settlement award to People USA. And this
Yes,
is,
so this is also a housekeeping adjustment for accounting. This is a request from the county auditor and the Commissioner of Finance. At the end of 2024, we took a look at kind of where all the agencies were trending and spending, and we didn't think that they would have as many expenses as they did. So although the money is in the contract, the money just wasn't in the line for 25. So it's an accounting
so it's
adjustment to
similar to, right,
recognize it.
okay. Are there any questions or comments on that item? Anyone from the public? No? Okay, I make a motion to approve. Budgetary Amendment 25A082. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And number 9 is FYI. This is a fund transfer for Office for Senior Resources.
Difficult topics.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night. So we have,
It's increasing amount of purchase order.
yeah. Hello, how are you? How are you? Hi. So this is the purchase order for GoGo transportation. Now, the GoGo that's medical transport, this particular one, or is that just for?
This is any transport.
Any transport, okay. So just for the public, so if you can just explain.
Sure, and before we begin, I just want to introduce our new fiscal manager, Edward Benez.
Nice to meet you.
So we just started just last week, so.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome. All right, yeah, so we are asking to transfer money to put into the coffers of the GoGo program. So that is, the GoGo transportation program is a kind of a concierge service that the state gave us grant money towards. It's been going really well. So that is either Uber, Lyft, or taxi vendors as well. Because, depending on where you are in the county, depends on what you get. So that's been going really well. However, the money that the state has given us is now slowly coming to a close. So we have unmet need money that we could utilize to keep the program going.
Oh, great. Yeah, so just so everybody knows, it's a very affordable ride also. I think it's like $250 or under.
Yeah, so this is where we cover up to, I think 20 miles. Everyone gets 2 one-way trips a month. Up to 20 miles for free. Veterans, if it's to any of the VA clinics, the whole trip is completely free. And then anything over that, the clients will pay towards, which has been less than $10 of that I've been noticing on all the trips. So when we made that decision, because we said we were trying to expand keep the money around as long as possible, no one really was going more than 20 miles. It was very rare. So that's where we came. So we're hoping.
Local, if they're just going local, it's very inexpensive.
Correct, exactly, yeah. So people have been going to Danbury, down to White Plains, Poughkeepsie. it is to supplement our medical transportation, but, a lot of people have been going to get their hair done, going out to dinner, going to visit family. So it's been really
Great,
wonderful.
especially
that's been available.
seniors or people that can't drive. So it's wonderful.
Correct.
And there is an app for that also. I don't know if people,
Yes.
I don't think a lot of people know about that, this GoGo. I really don't.
No, it's a real true hidden gem.
Yeah.
But yes, caregivers, you can can put money on people's books. It lets them know if their loved one has been picked up, that they've been dropped off safely. It kind of, keeps
Very good.
keeps tabs if need be.
Okay. Excellent. Any questions or comments from any of committee, any other legislators? Legislative stage.
Okay, I think that's, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I know I've heard this before, but it's
Mm-hmm.
never clicked in. Is it an app that a senior has on their cell phone?
put it on.
They do it, or you do it for them?
They do it. They do. So what we do is we enroll them to make sure that they're eligible. So when we first started this program, it was geared towards low-income seniors, and it still is. That's our primary focus. So we would enroll them in the program, get them all set up, but then they would be the ones to set up their trips. So they can call the phone number or they can use the app. And
I don't know how many seniors use an app.
and that is, and once again, phone number, how many buttons you gotta press? No.
Right.
They just call and they get the representative. They make it very, very user-friendly. It is geared towards older adults, so they really made it very easy and user-friendly.
Hey, just a quick thing, did you say family members or others could actually add to their certain accounts that's almost as a gift or a present? Or
Yes. So if
Really?
someone wanted to use it privately, it's like a concierge service. So there's different levels that you could put money on. So it could be just for rides. It could be like an Instacart for food shopping. They could set you up for different things. So depending on the level that you choose, the different concierge services that could go on it. So yes, someone can put money on the person's books, so to speak.
Interesting, that's very good.
So just to be clear, is that, so if a senior, a lot of them do know how to use, my mother's 93 and she uses the phone. But if they don't know, can somebody, a caregiver, put it on their phone?
Yes.
So keep the app on their phone and make the phone calls for them and say they need to be picked up and pay it from there.
Absolutely.
Okay, so they don't even have to touch the phone or do anything.
Yeah, and I would say 99.9%
Right.
use the phone call.
Yeah, no.
To get that set up. So,
Okay,
yeah, no, it's
great.
been very well.
Thank you. Legislator Montgomery.
Thanks. I think the last time we spoke, the state money ran out, right?
Yes.
And I thought the state was adding more to it because it was
Yes.
such a popular program
Correct.
and,
Yeah, so we initially, in January, got $20,000. That's when we had no restrictions, and we realized how popular it was, and we went through that very quickly. So then, yes, we did have to open up a PO
Nothing.
to sustain it. They did come and give us an additional $18,000, I believe in June. So,
and that's
It's-
drying out and you need this 10 from unmet needs.
Correct.
So there's not a county match or percentage that we have to,
no,
this is.
there is no county match for
Okay.
unmet needs. Yep.
Okay.
Totally funded.
All right, we'll just get more money out of the state, it sounds like. They need to fund it more.
Unmet needs money is for.
Yeah.
This is our unmet needs, so, and
Yeah.
they gave additional money. which
Great.
has been perfect timing.
Awesome, thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming this evening, explaining that. And this is only FYI, so not for approval. It's a fund transfer. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Have a good
you.
evening.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't ask the audience, did I? Anybody have questions? No questions? Oh, I'm shocked. That's, the questions are coming. Okay. Moving on to number 10 is other business. Seeing there's no other business, I make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned.
Evening and welcome to the September 15th meeting of the Rules Committee. I'd ask everybody to please stand for the pledge. Bill, would you lead us? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Legislator Elner?
Here.
Legislator Blumer?
Present.
Chairman Roddenberry?
Here. Good evening. We'll have a brief chairman's verbal report. Just going to go through briefly the agenda. We've got a couple of approvals for an appointment, budgetary amendment, a funding request, and we always have our litigation report, which is an FYI, which is a confidential matter. And then we do have an item of other business, which we will entertain as we get closer to that item. And also the other business item, you may note that it's worded a little differently than the other committees. Just as a reminder, other business matters are matters that might be brought before the committee by a member of the legislature. There was a meeting a couple of months ago of this committee where I felt bad, but there were a few folks who were waiting around for a couple of hours to talk about a matter that was not on the agenda. So that's why I've tried to be a bit more clear in item 8 as far as what the other business category is. It's for any member of the legislature to bring up a matter of other business. And to the extent there's any member of the public that wants to bring any matter before this committee or any other committee, we would encourage them to get in touch with the respective chair of each committee. So that's what we have there. So we'll jump right into it now. That was the chairman's verbal report. Item number 4, we have before us a budgetary amendment 25A073 for the Veteran Service Agency, the peer-to-peer program. And this is a resolution. Do we have anybody to speak on that? I know it's a ongoing program. It's something that's familiar to all of us. It's in the amount of $4,038. It says a reso, but is that something that requires a reso? Oh, because it's going between funds. Got it. Okay. It's not the amount. Any committee member have any comment on this? Any member of the legislature? Any member of the public? Seeing none, I'll make a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 5, we have its recommendation for appointment, Thomas Moccio to the Electrical Board. As you might know, the Electrical Board, the Plumbing Board, and the Home Improvements Boards, all three of those boards do a great volunteer service for the county. In this case, of course, we're talking about the Electrical Board. They're a licensing board. They're a board that approves licenses in Putnam County and also has a bit of an educational program as well. This person, Mr. Moccio, has come recommended to us. Is there any comment on from the committee? Any legislator? Any member of the public? I'll make a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 6 is a memo from Legislator Montgomery, and it's an approval request for funding for the county contribution from Subcontingency for the Hudson Valley Shakespeare program. Nancy, do you want to take it from here? And maybe, do we have anybody from the event?
Sure, we do. We have
Okay.
Kendra Eklund from CFO from Hudson Valley Shakespeare. If we can welcome
Of course,
Kendra,
please, join us.
just to say hi and, let you know a little bit about what's been happening at Hudson Valley Shakespeare, which would take a lot of time, but
I'll keep it really short.
it's
No-
very
no rush,
exciting.
No rush. Is the green light on the?
Yes.
Perfect, great. So welcome, please.
Good evening, members of the legislature. Thank you for having me. My name is Kendra Eklund. I have the great pleasure of serving as the managing director of Hudson Valley Shakespeare and Garrison. We were conveyed in 2019 the old Garrison Golf Course overlooking the Hudson River, and we've undertaken a multi-year capital campaign and construction project to do an ecological restoration of the golf course and to construct a permanent open-air theater to replace the tent that goes up and down every summer when we perform our season. In addition to that, there will be picnic lawns, pathways, and the grounds will be open to the public during the day. So it's accessible whether or not anyone buys a ticket to a theater show ever. People are very accustomed to walking their dogs there, and they're still doing so around the construction fence, and they're welcome to do so afterwards. I'm a big believer in local arts organizations because not only are the arts a great driver for economic development, it drives people to live here, it drives people to travel here, but I just believe in the exchange with the community, what we offer to the public, and taking that very seriously. So we're really, really excited to welcome people to our site. And Legislator Montgomery has revived an application that wasn't prioritized in the last round of funding for lighting for the ADA accessible pathway that's the primary entrance to the new site, which is a way to access the theater, but also the wonderful view of the Hudson River that we enjoy, that we so desperately want to share and make accessible. So that's the reason for my presence in front of you today.
Great.
And thank you.
Well, thank you. First of all, thanks for coming here tonight. And this, as you mentioned, would be funded out of what we call our contract agency application process. And the county does not give out grants. We don't call them that because they technically cannot be. The state constitution prohibits municipalities like Putnam County from giving grants to private entities. What we do, though, is we have contract agencies. Cornell Cooperative Extension is one of them. Any one of the ones that have been funded through our programs over the last decades. What we do is we contract with those agencies to provide a service that the county otherwise isn't able to provide through the county law, and cultural activities is certainly one of those entities or one of those purposes for which the county can expend money. So that's how we would structure this, as a contract between your organization and the county. Each of the contract agencies do have that written agreement between, or written document between the county. And I'm going to be sounding like a broken record once we get into budget season next month. But having said that, I from my view as a legislator, this fits squarely within that cultural aspect of it. And I imagine quite a few Putnam County residents attend your shows and your functions and your facility.
30,000.
Well, okay.
Well, I know that they're all Putnam County.
But I'm sure a good deal of them are.
Yeah,
So,
thank you for the explanation of the process.
yes, and you did not use the word grant, and thank you for that, so, which is fine, thank you, but I didn't want to suggest that you did. But that's our program, and I'm very happy to see that, first of all, the work you're doing, and, I'd like to open it up to the committee to see if they have any questions or comments, and then.
I think this is excellent, and, we have to be cognizant that there's people who need, like you said, ADA compliance so they can enjoy and benefit from the enrichment and the education. So I think this is a wonderful idea.
Thank you.
You guys have a wonderful program. I support this.
Great. Any legislators have any comments? Nancy?
Yeah, just to extend on what Kendra modestly talked about with her great organization, I just realized while she was talking that what Hudson Valley Shakespeare actually did, and by being gifted this property, is they created another park in Putnam County, in essence. I don't know if you've ever been on the property of the golf course, which we're not calling the golf course, I guess, anymore, but.
Did they have banquet facilities there at one point?
Banquet facilities.
I went to a wedding there. Went to a wedding there once.
Venue. Every one of my siblings was married there,
Okay.
all 9 of us. It overlooks West Point,
Yep.
and
been
Storm
there.
King and the Hudson. It is, some will say, the most beautiful spot on the Hudson. And now the property is opened to, use. They're going to have meandering meadows and walkways and fields to just enjoy and picnic. And it's not just really this open-air theater, which I think we desperately need in Putnam County. What I loved most about the original plan was they had an actual brick-and-mortar theater year-round that was taken out of the plan. It was just, I guess the community wasn't ready for it yet. I don't know why, but it's sorely needed in Putnam County. And I wanted to touch on the county executive's memo regarding the funding that the Garrison Arts Center received, and that they had received funding already from the Putnam Arts Council. And you guys all know about that process. The Putnam Arts Council has basically given about less than $12,000 to re-grant to all 10, maybe if that, organizations throughout the county. So maybe some organization receives anywhere from $800 to $1,000, maybe
Max.
$1,800 max. This is a really ambitious project that Hudson Valley Shakespeare has embarked on, and it's costing millions of dollars. They do get grant money from other places and private donations, but it all goes back to the residents of Putnam County. Any dime spent there because now they are operating the wedding venue as well. So all that sales tax revenue that's under Hudson Valley Shakespeare through their concessions, their dining, their wedding venue, all comes back to Putnam County. So if we could actually calculate maybe what Hudson Valley pays in sales tax revenue, we might have that figure. I think Kendra gave it to me.
It's around $7,000 from the nonprofit organization,
Mhm.
and the Garrison Valley Restaurant and the Inn at the Garrison is a wholly owned subsidiary of Hudson Valley Shakespeare, and that's a for-profit entity on a taxable leasehold parcel, and that generates about $350,000 to the state a year.
So every nickel we spend here comes back dressed up as a quarter. Okay, let's go look at it.
So just, yeah.
Okay, good point.
Thanks.
And we're very grateful to receive $1,500 from the Putnam Arts Council for the Community Bake-Off playwriting program, which is coming up this November, and I invite you to attend.
Great, definitely. Thank you. Tony?
Thank you. Yes, I fully support this contribution.
Thank you.
And I feel it's very important to be ADA compliant.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you. Any other legislator, any, yes, Amy?
The Putnam Arts Council, that is located in my district.
Yep.
And every year we say we give them more money to give them. And yet, we have the opportunity, looks like, to get all these outside services. And we haven't. Do we have any more money in outside, for these outside agencies that you send over to Ms. McCollum? Because I didn't realize it was just going to, it'd be nice
Yeah.
to be able to increase these grants for these arts programs.
Increase these what? Increase these what?
Not grants.
Enter into contract with, yes.
Arts Council, because they are supporting, I don't know how many organizations throughout the county, in
Yeah.
everybody's district.
Can I-
And they offer programming for specific arts programs, whether it's dance, music, visual photography.
Sure.
Drawing, whatever it is.
Next year in the budget.
I don't know if there's anything.
This
like
year,
GoGo.
he needs to put more money.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Nancy next, but just for full disclosure, this is the last drop in the bucket. It is, of the 75,000 that was, and again, I know it was a little different budget season last year with respect to this funding, but this is the last of that. And to be fair, we are in the end of the fiscal year too, so, even if we wanted to contract with more people to provide more services, we're running out of calendar time for that as well. But obviously, next month, we're starting our budget season, so we could always address it there for the 26 budget. So Nancy? Yeah.
That additional $7.
Yeah.
14 even.
Yeah, I want to let everybody know my intention, because other agencies did come to us for this last little bucket of money we had, last little bit of money, and my answer to that was, I really wanted to fund those organizations that were there and presented and didn't get any funding. So Shakespeare's request was extensive. They need a lot of money for this project, and this is just very modest compared to what they originally asked for, and they didn't get it in the original round. We did give some organizations that got funding some extra money, Second Chance Foods and Careers in Putnam, Recreation got a little more money, but my intention was to just at least give some money to those organizations that requested it. Put all the effort. You saw their 32-page attachment, 32 attachments that I sent to you. The amount of information that was required for this bucket of money was really challenging. And, I think what I hope for before we receive the budget from the county executive is maybe more funding for these organizations, for those buckets of money that we can disperse or contract with, or, that line item is just increased in the county executive's office before it comes to us. That would be great, because oh my gosh, what these organizations bring back to Putnam County in terms of culture, education, open space, recreation, and economic boom.
I don't disagree. Thank you. Any member of the public? And Nancy and I talked about this on the phone last week. We do not yet have a fund transfer, which is the mechanical document that we need in order to make this fund transfer or this budgetary amendment happen. But we do have at the end of the month, 2 weeks from tonight, the Audit Committee meeting. So what I'd like to do is make a motion to, first of all, send this, I know this letter from Nancy was addressed to the county exec, but I'd like to make a motion that we also endorse it to the county exec and that we put it on the, that we forward it to the audit committee. And again, to be fair to the administration, it just came out last week, so it's not unusual that they wouldn't have it yet. But with that, I'd like to make a motion to do both of those things, forward it down with our recommendation to the county exec, and then also forward it to the audit committee on the 29th. Is there a second?
Second, so we can have discussion.
Okay.
Question, does that slow down this process, or does that speed up the process? Or for that matter, keep the process going?
I think it keeps the process going, because
Okay.
no matter what we do here tonight, it would still have to go through audit on the 29th.
Got it.
And like I said, it's my understanding we do need something out of, we did it 2 ways a month ago. I think it was Careers was a letter to start with, then we got the fund transfer. But the thing Paul had put before us in July, I think was, he had already gotten it. So it's worked both ways. So I think this way, we don't have a physical line to transfer to
Right,
approve
but we
tonight,
need
so-
to keep this moving.
Yeah,
along.
that's my point. Yeah, I mean, and that's my intention here, is to keep it moving, and certainly to the extent the administration has any questions, I'll be happy to work with you, Nancy, to.
Yeah, and any legislator who wasn't here for Kendra's presentation, we can forward. I don't think it's necessary for them to come to.
Oh, no, good. Oh, no, that wasn't my intention either.
Yeah.
Don't, okay, good.
You wait till you go to her place.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a good time.
Yeah, sorry.
You guys
Oh, no
go
problem.
over there. It's really special. It is so
Yeah, no, I
special,
don't
especially in the fall. You're going to want to walk around there.
We do have a motion that's been seconded, but we do have a question from the, or comment or question from the public. Come on up, please.
Feature number one.
Purple pen.
Purple pen, Brett.
The purple, what was that? Peter and the purple crayon? Harold. Peter. Thank you.
First of all, I just gotta say, I'm so happy to inspire childhood stories being brought up every time. Very, very quickly, I want to just bring up something I brought up when we discussed the careers budgetary amendment law, which is that I am not for recklessly spending dollars, especially even if we just have the dollars to just spend them.
Right.
Because we have it is not a good justification for spending money. What I am for is good investment, especially in a county that is desperate for investment. And I brought up with careers that when you invest in adult workforce development, you're typically getting back 4 to 7 times your investment. That's from all national studies. The National Parks and Recreation Association estimates that when you create public open spaces like what we're talking about here with Hudson Valley Shakespeare, it being ADA accessible, it creating a community gathering space in a public open space, you typically get 2 to 4 times back on your investment. So legislative Birmingham, when you say a nickel comes back dressed up as a quarter, that may actually be right on the money in terms of the type of investment that we're talking about. And so I would just like to give my support for this investment, because that's what it is. It is an investment where we are expecting a pretty significant return on it, and that's always the best way to invest. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brett.
Thank you. Sure, of course.
I'm sorry, and I really appreciate what you're doing, making the ADA compliant, making people who don't have access to go out and enjoy the parks. I will tell you that I don't think there's one town park in my town that is ADA compliant. I have a constituent who's in a wheelchair permanently, and he's got young children, and he cannot go watch his kids play soccer on any field. So that's hugely
Wow.
important to get people out, and that's something that I'm really trying to work with our town about. He can't watch his kids play any sports, and they're young. So I think that's hugely important, what you're doing, and making things ADA compliant, make it important for people who have disabilities to be able to access the big grounds, and that's hugely important.
Thank you, it's a big priority for us.
Yeah.
We can't wait to have you guys over there.
Definitely going to go. Thank you. Any other comments from anybody or questions? We've got a motion on the table to do 2 things. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for coming by today.
And I
Thank
will
you.
send an invitation for opening night.
Please do.
Right? have ribbon cutting, and please join us.
The ribbon cutting.
What's the date?
Ribbon cutting.
When is that? 2026.
What's the date?
It'll be in May, date
Okay.
TBD,
Okay.
but you'll get, you'll be the first. Weather. No, we have a roof now.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Kendra. Say hi to everybody.
Item number 7 is an FYI. It's our litigation report. Every legislator has this confidential item. To the extent any legislator has a question, we would have to go into executive session, but it's a report we get every month, and we've had it for a while. Unfortunately, this is not one of the few items that's not for public discussion, so seeing no legislator comment, we'll just file that, and I'd ask my colleagues to dispose of it appropriately. We do have an item of other business which was brought to us from our law department, and on this matter, what I'd like to do is, and I do know I sound like a broken record sometimes, this is with respect to an intermunicipal agreement with the County of Westchester. My firm does a limited practice with that county as their bond counsel. There would be no connection with this IMA, but I think in the abundance of caution, what I'd like to do is just turn the mic and ask over to my colleague Greg to ask him to chair part of this meeting, and to the extent there is, well, first of all, I'll make a motion to bring in any and all additional matters. Do we have a second?
Second.
And this is a procedural vote. I'll vote yes on this. All in favor?
Aye.
So now, on this matter, I'm just going to abstain and ask my colleague Greg to take the meeting over.
Thank you. So I'm now the acting chairman of this committee. Just want to double check, because the way you phrase that, has the other business been brought in? Because if not, I'd like to make a motion.
We just did that.
Just want, okay, clarify. Before we get started, Councilor Ribisi, your assistance is requested. The memo came to us stamped confidential. Is only the memo confidential, or is also or is the entire?
The entirety is.
Oh, it's this. Thanks.
So the resolution is also?
Yes, until it's entered.
Okay. So reluctantly, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session. Do I have a second?
Why do we want to do that?
Because this is confidential.
Okay, I'll vote, I'll second that.
All those in favor? Aye.
One abstention.
Okay. So at 6:49, we are going to go into executive session across the hall and discuss this matter.
I'll stay here.
You stay here?
Yeah.
But even walking the streets is
I'd like to make a motion to come out of executive session at 6:56 PM. Do I have a motion? Excuse me, do I have a second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye, we were in executive session. No action was taken. The help of the law department. This is a resolution which we have previously had. It expired in June, and we're bringing it back in force. Can we give some broad subject matter?
It was just in.
As to what this is, it's an intermunicipal agreement with Westchester County, so we can continue to work cooperatively and jointly. Okay. So with that being said, I'd like to make a motion to accept the resolutions. Second. All those in favor? Aye.
And one abstention.
Motion carries. At this point, I'd like to cede the chairmanship back to Chairman
Thank you.
Birmingham.
And we are on item number 8, other business. That was an item of other business. And Heather, you're here today as legislative counsel, correct? Great. One thing that I'd like to work on for the next couple of weeks, in this next couple of months actually, in this committee, is something I know the chair of our legislature and our minority member of the legislature have forwarded down to the county executive the legislative budget for 2026. And within that legislative budget, there's a request for a legislative council for the majority and a legislative council for the minority. Obviously, that's a preliminary document at this point. It's just essentially our tentative budget for 2026. None of us have voted on it yet. This is the way it should happen. The chair and the minority members send down a budget. But what I'd like to do in anticipation to be ready, if it does become part of the 2026 budget, I want to put into place a mechanism whereby this can, if it does get funded, that we can go ahead and have that operational on January 1st. A couple of things I'm thinking about are either a charter change or a code change. And/or a code change. Certainly, I'd like to work with you as our legislative counsel in trying to craft that to get it done by January 1st. And of course, this committee is going to be working with the chair and of course the minority member to make sure that the appointment process for that person and persons, again, should it become part of the budget, is decided, that the methodology of the decision is made before January 1st so that there's no personalities don't become involved at that point, as far as, well, who's in the running, that type of thing. And also, I think it's a fair thing just to get it out. Let's get it ready in case it does pass. So with that, the only reason I'm bringing this up, I don't expect you to comment on it or anything, is just to give you a heads up on that. Again, the committee's going to be working with the chair and the minority member to try and put something together. And again, it could either take the form or both of a charter change. We do have a portion of Article 2 which says we can choose outside counsel on specific cases, and I think that's been debated in the past, last year, maybe a couple of times. But also maybe that might be a place where we can work something like that in with a companion piece in the code, or maybe just do it through the code. I do know that there's Article 5 or 8, I forgot which one, which is the county attorney's portion of the charter, which talks about the county attorney being the sole legal advisor. So I want to try. Right, yes, I do know that as well. We can supersede county law, though. I'm sure you were under, well, it's the state law, the county law portion of the state law. I don't think we need to do that, but again, those are some of the areas I want to try and work out. There are other counties that do have that combination where it says sole, but also, and quite frankly, our history has been such for almost 50 years where we have had a in-house legislative council. I know in the last 12 years. An employee form, and that's what the form of the legislative budget request was. So the point in this item here is just to put it on everybody's radar. I don't anticipate it, and I don't want it to be a secret behind the doors discussions. I'd like us to discuss it, and I'd like everybody to weigh in. I'd like the public to weigh in, and I do realize there'll be certain times we might need executive session. But I just wanted to put it out there because it is part of the budget. And if it does get passed, I want us to be able to have it self-executing by January 1st. Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other business from any legislator? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Thanks, folks. Have a good night.